Hello and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars, where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. I am Hannah, and I'm here yet again with my beautiful co-host, Exquisite, and we are here to talk about. What are we here to talk about?
Um, we're here to talk about, well, first of all, hello, Hannah. Um, we're here to talk about LOML, aka Loss of My Life. Um, and it occurs to me that I don't know how people say that out loud. Do they just say Loss of My Life? Do they say LOML?
I say loml.
Loml?
Like when I see it on Twitter, like I don't think LOML, I just think lml. Like like I just
When I, yeah, no. When I see LOML, I immediately read it as love of my life, even though I know that's not what it is
yeah
at all.
yeah
But and I remember when everybody was like, "What does LOML stand for?" Like when we were all like talking about it, and so many people were like, they were just guessing. They're because I was like, I don't think it stands for "Love My Life." It's probably like "Loss" or something. And we were all right that
yeah.
she was not gonna do the obvious "Love of My
I feel
Life"
like that
because
was like a fandom like collective agreement that we all knew
yeah,
that she was going to be playing with that phrase.
exactly, exactly. We knew she wasn't going to, because if she was, she would have just named it "Love of My Life."
Yeah, yeah.
She was
But
like, "Let me hold the trigger, keep that bullet in the gun till the last."
oh my gosh, I was just going to say like I'm so surprised you haven't broken yet, but you just did.
And it's funny because this is another song that doesn't really have a chorus.
Yeah, it's like it's like similar to I was going to say London Boy, So Long London.
It has a refrain.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's it's a it's a doozy. This one's
Yeah,
Exquisite's already fanning her face. Um,
because I looked at the first line.
all right, let me read it. I know usually we do like a little intro, but I guess the intro will be yeah, we're gonna talk like So Long
It,
London. We're gonna go
it's written by Taylor and Aaron, so
yes,
that should
yes,
tell you.
which probably means she wrote it to a track or she wrote it when he was around. But yeah, we're gonna dive in on this song. Who's gonna stop us, Exquisite, from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we knew the steps anyway? We embroidered the memories of the time I was away stitching. We were just kids, babe. I said, I don't mind. It takes time. I thought I was better safe than starry eyed. I felt a glow like this never before and never since. Deep breath.
Okay, we have to start from the very beginning. Okay, because this is the song that I think, and I mentioned it, we mentioned it in the last episode, but we were talking about our little mixed drink theory.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the song that emulates that theory the most. This is the complete, she has stirred them into one person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is in every line. And it's also like, it's not just like even beyond the muse, it's also like this this character that she is creating. Um, it's just it's a
Yeah.
lot. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
is
feel
like
like it's both a mixed muse, but also it's an encapsulation of this
yeah,
period, right? It's
the encapsulation of the period, definitely. And also think like Taylor, it really reckons with the fact that it's also kind of an encapsulation of things past people have done to her as well. And we get in a lot more into that later on, but
yeah, and I think another theme that we'll touch on is like I think she in her lifetime has had a lot of this idea about fate and about things meant to be
yeah,
or and coincidences not being coincidences, and I think even
yeah,
that too is something that gets shaken and is maybe a
yeah.
loss.
Yeah, especially because this song comes like directly after her surrender in I Can Fix Him, where she like basically she was talking about her like mastermind syndrome or whatever, and also like her reckoning with fate and with the things that she cannot control. And this coming right after it is like this is like the reverse of the Serenity prayer. This song is like inverted Serenity
What's
prayer.
the Serenity Prayer for
Oh
people who
my
don't know?
gosh. So it's like God give me the
Hmm.
serenity for the things I can't control. I'm actually gonna pull it up. Um, but it's like, oh yeah, it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Um,
Hmm. It's,
that's the song, but like derogatory.
I mean, more derogatory, I guess, is like the prophecy, right? It's like,
Yeah. And especially because it's like I could let me tell you, like just the idea of like surrendering, being like, okay, I can't change it, but I can change certain things, and I could, and I need to know, like, I need wisdom for it. And I feel like Taylor, the whole album, because she even asked it, she's like, "Am I bad or mad or wise?" She is like, she's trying to parse through these experiences,
yeah.
and it leaves me quite distressed.
Yeah. And I think this is also like the emotional, like, floor. Like we had a kind of a floor for when we had So Long London, but this is like
Yeah.
the that floor has given out. Like she tried to find a way out, through like
Hmm.
Florida and Who's Afraid and Guilty of Sin and I Can
Yeah.
Fix Him, but Daddy 11. But then she just backslid back into the pit and then found a new layer, right?
Yeah. She thought she asked, she said, "How low do you think I'd go before I self-implode?" And we get the self-implosion, and in the middle, I'm sure like if you've ever seen like fireworks, right? The shiny, the colors, they all look so pretty, but then you're left with just like smoke and it's ashes in the sky and it's kind of gross. And it doesn't really smell good. And you're also like left with like when fireworks come down and sometimes they'll like fall on people. Have you ever like and like a 4th of July party or whatever? So it's like we are past the self-implosion. We are now left to deal with the aftermath.
Yeah.
In this song, she explains how we got here, and how we got to this kind of aftermath.
Yeah, I think that's a great phrase, an aftermath, where you look around and you see the devastation and the destruction caused by the alien that fell through the skylight, by this car running through the fences, right? By,
Caused by that chemistry till it blows up.
yeah. And so,
Boom.
all that to say, Exquisite is just stalling from talking about this first line.
What? Well, Hannah, you start with that first question.
Okay, the question is, who's going to stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we know the steps anyway, right? And as soon as I see this, right, like, a waltz is a beautiful dance where it's in three, you have a partner, it's very intimate, and who's gonna stop us from going back to dancing, but then not like finding a lover and reconnecting into an I mean, yes, but so into rekindled flames, so flames that were already there, right? Like that.
Yeah.
It's easy to
They
actually to restart a fire if the embers
yeah,
are still there, right? Like,
they like kind of died out, but
mhm.
there's
And
still like a red glow there that you can restart.
yeah, and so then we have, it's a beautiful image, but it's also scary because these flames are not good.
Yeah, they were burning her probably. Um, and then like just opening with that question of because it makes it almost like she felt as if it was
Yes.
inevitable. She's like, who is going to stop it? And then you realize, like in this first line, we kind of can hear all the friends who have just been watching everything go down and who have been trying to be like the friends that were in So Long London that are like, it isn't right to be scared. And then the friends that were in Fresh Out the Slammer who watched her daily disappearing. None of them could stop them going back because the embers were still burning and calling to her. And they know the steps. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
So she's like, what's going to stop us from falling back into these old patterns?
Yeah.
No,
No one. Yeah,
who's
and
going to know?
yeah, no, I wrote it down. Who's gonna hold you? Who's gonna know you like me? It's the same question. Who
Yeah.
And the answer for both was no, like no one. It's
It
only
has
me.
to happen.
Yeah. Who's gonna fix him? I can, right? I will. But then at the same time, the other lyric parallel I think of is we know the right steps to different dances, and
Yeah.
that's from How Did It End, and that's very much a song about the dissolution of a relationship. But again, and Taylor loves her dancing references, right? I'm not much for dancing before you. I did dancing with our hands
Or
tied.
I don't want to dance unless you're in this room.
If I'm not dancing with you, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so intimate.
Or dancing in the snow globe round and round,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you are in love.
Mhm.
And just,
Yeah, because dancing is all about like reading your partner, about following their lead. It's trust, right? And they
it's
knew the steps.
one, and they know it. They know it.
Yeah. We embroidered the memories of the time I was away. So if you don't know, embroidery is a type of sewing where you decorate
Yep.
with stitches. So like
Hmm.
a handkerchief, instead of just being plain, you could embroider it with like an initial or like a flower.
And it takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
It takes
Well, good
you to sit with
embroidery.
it. Good embroidery.
Yeah.
You can sit for hours
Yeah.
embroidering and stitching.
And so embroidering memories means to not just have memories, but to like enhance them and to like add to them to make them, I guess, more powerful or
Mhm.
more interesting.
And just sit with them and think them over and over and over and over.
Yeah. And they were embroidering, "We were just kids, babe."
Yeah. And that specifically, where we were just kids, babe, is an excuse. So they were like, the reason things weren't working or didn't work is because they were just kids.
Yeah. I was
So it's
away, we broke up or we had a break because we were just kids. And
like we didn't know any better.
mhm, mhm, mhm. And I said, "I don't mind. It takes time."
What do you think she's referring to when she says it takes time? What is the it?
The relationship takes time, like finding the right moment, the right timing. That's to me what it
Yeah.
means.
And I was also thinking like the it being properly rekindling those flames. And so she was like, I don't mind that we fell apart once because we were just kids and it just takes time for us to come back to
Yeah.
each other.
And to
Uh,
me, like that's the first sign. Like granted we know the whole story of the album, but the sign to me that something's amiss is because she had growth in the past. Like back in Red, she's saying good girls hopeful they'll be, long they will wait. But
hmm.
then in I Think He Knows and Lover, she said good girls never wait.
Yeah,
And here she's regressed. She's like, "Oh no, I can wait."
exactly. She says, I don't mind. I don't mind waiting. I know the talk about timing in times like these. She's like, I understand. It takes time. I can wait. It's okay. I can wait. We're only kids. Like,
Yeah,
we still have some time.
yeah. I thought it was better safe than starry-eyed. Exquisite. You want to talk
Um,
about this Taylorism? It's your
I
favorite.
thought I was better safe than starry-eyed. Okay, first of all, it's a Taylor Swiftism. It's a Swiftism because the saying is better safe than sorry. So that is when like you protect yourself, like you don't go out because you're like, well, I'm better safe than sorry. What if I go out and something bad happens? So in here, she's like, I thought I was better safe. So I assume she's talking about whatever it was that had caused them to break up. And the reason she's saying I don't mind now because she thought she was better safe when they were going to break up, and that's what was causing her when they were going to go on a break. So she thought she was better safe than starry eyed. But the reason this throws me in the tizzy is because of call it what you want. Because it's starry eyes sparking up my darkest night.
No.
And so she was like, I thought I was better safe than being lost in those eyes. Or herself, to be starry eyed is to like be dazzled. And she thought she was better safe than dazzled.
Yeah,
Except the next line that follows, she's like, I felt a glow like this never before and never since.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, when I heard the Taylor Swiftism, it was like better safe than optimistic or hoping for
Yeah.
something better. And so she was like, and so she was just, yeah, like, my,
You're my option.
yeah, 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 right? Like,
You're my
um,
safe option.
but then I felt a glow like this reminds me a lot of like this love is glowing in the dark.
It also
Um,
reminds me of Snow on the Beach,
oh
which,
yeah,
um, especially because she's like, I've never known someone lit from within.
yeah,
And also because I definitely put Snow on the Beach on my denial playlist, and Taylor would too, because she did. Especially because when I listened to Snow on the Beach, to me it felt like her saying, well, this is so rare and so special that I will never feel this way again, and it's never gonna happen again. This like you wanting me tonight feels impossible. Um, and so it's here, it's encapsulated here because she's like, I felt a glow.
yeah. Never before and never since. And as Exquisite composes herself, I think you might have heard if you've been listening to a lot of Taylor music, if you know a lot about her past relationships, you might have been like, oh, like that lyric is about this, like, oh, like where is this? This whole thing is so mixed and
It's
so,
star mixed.
yeah, it's right. Like we know that Taylor had a rebound after her long-term relationship ended, and there were maybe some relationship she had with that person in the past. They had rekindled flames, but we also know that Taylor and her long-term relationship also had a break, at least one
We
break,
we know exactly when You're Losing Me was written.
right before
It was
midnight.
before midnight.
So yeah, there was, and then there was obviously a reconciliation, a waltzing back into rekindled flames there as well.
There was a reconnection, something brought them back together. And in fact, Taylor's gonna get into it. She's gonna tell us later in the song what it was that brought them back together,
Yeah. So
actually.
yeah, so I was talking to Squiz about this earlier. So there's three like lenses we're gonna be like going through in this song. You'll catch it. You guys are all smart. You listeners are all smart. But there's three lenses. There's the lens of this narrator as a character who is mourning the life she had before and chronicling the deceptions and the hurt she
And the
went
life
through,
she could have had.
the life she could have had, her reasonings for her like fall, I guess. But
Hmm.
we also have the
Kind of
lens
like an angel.
and the what?
It's a kind of like an angel,
Yeah, yeah,
fallen angel.
yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, yeah.
Lost her wings. Then we have the lens of through the end of her long term relationship, where we can see the pain from that one, and then we have
Yeah.
the loss of the rebound relationship that shocked her into somewhat sanity, I guess.
Yeah.
So you will hear us flipping through those lenses. If and I think that's what shows how powerful the songwriting is that we can see all three in almost every line.
Yeah. Like it's yeah.
Okay. Are
I'm
you?
gonna
Should I keep
I
reading
can
the
I can
stanzas, or
read it. I
you can do
can
the
read
next
it.
one?
I can read it.
Okay, I
I
believe
can
in
read
you.
it. Um if you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary. You and I go from one kiss to getting married, still alive, killing time at the cemetery, never quite buried. In your suit and tie, in the nick of time, you low down boy, you stand up guy, you holy ghost, you told me I'm the love of your life. You said I'm the love of your life about a million times.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you know it in one glimpse, right? This idea of like, I saw you across the room, right? I saw
Mhm.
you at like snow on the beach, right? It's
Yeah.
legendary. And like, this is like Taylor's ideal, right? Like in
Yeah.
Gorgeous, in Mastermind, in like one look, right? Or even You Are in Love, one look, dark room meant just for you,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? Like, that's what a love story is to Taylor. That you go
And it's
from
just
one
the
kiss, the
yeah.
legend of it. Yeah, we went from
Yeah.
one kiss and then boom, you do that hard cut and then you're at the altar.
Exactly. Exactly. The hard cut exactly. Like Exactly. I know. But then she goes, still alive, but instead of being at the church in the steeple, they are just chilling out at the cemetery.
which is generally a sign of, death.
Yeah, never quite buried. So she's still got she's got one foot in the grave in this relationship, just pumping at a dead body. Like, come on, we can still do this. Like, this is still legendary.
Yeah, like it's like begging this corpse to like revive or come back to
Yeah.
life. Like it's like both of these relationships had moments where she was like where her spine split carrying them up the hill, right? Where you are hoping that it will never be fully buried because you're like it's still alive, the body still has a pulse. And so
Yep.
the killing time at the cemetery is such a good line, like killing, death, cemetery, right? And just waiting for time to pass. Like maybe if I wait long enough at this cemetery, I'll be in the wedding chapel.
Yeah. If I wait long enough, even statues crumble and they're made to wait. But um, I'm sorry if you can hear the sniffles. You guys. Listen, because it's genuinely so sick. Because again, like you just said, because the next line she literally goes, "In your suit and tie, in the nick of time." So they're never quite married because guess what? At the last minute, he comes up ready for marriage, right?
Yep, in a suit and tie, literally.
In your suit and tie. Well, I'm thinking about throwing in the towel. I'm thinking about like pulling myself out and putting dirt on this body. Here you come,
You
standing broad shouldered next to me. I love it
you squeeze my hand 3 times as I'm about to
as I'm
leave.
about to leave.
Are we
Oh my
really
God,
gonna talk about that?
we're gonna talk about timing.
Yeah, the suit and tie thing too, right? Like we see in The Smallest Man Who Ever Lives, right? In your Jehovah's Witness suit, right? Suit
Yeah.
and tie. But suit and tie could also be, the Met Gala where Taylor famously met somebody. It was more of a tux and bow tie, but still dressed
Yeah.
up.
But yeah, but in the nick, like right at the moment of of pure devastation where she's like, you know what, I'm gonna end it. They showed up right in the moment when she needed it most,
Or
or whatever.
didn't need it. She didn't need it.
Or
Leave her
she didn't
alone.
need them to show up. But in the moment where she thinks everything is
Oh, I see.
going to shit and she's going to die, they show up like Superman.
Like a low down boy, a stand up
Yeah,
guy, Holy Ghost. Uh,
exactly. Also low down boy, literally low down London. I'm just gonna leave that there. But not
oh.
I don't want to go more into that because it's gonna stress me out.
Okay,
But
I can see the
I took
wordplay.
that London boy.
Low down also means like someone who's like deceitful or
Mhm.
unethical. It's like, like it's underhanded. But I think it's really interesting, actually, the progression of those words. You're a boy, a low down boy, stand
You're
up
God.
guy, and then
Mhm.
you Holy Ghost, right? Like a god-like figure. And I think that the language in this is okay. So I wrote this down, so like bear with me. So
Yep.
he's supposed to be. Oh, let me back up. So Holy Ghost is a concept in the Trinity, in the
Mhm.
Christian God who has the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Why did you
Speaking of
gasp?
that, though, I gasped because she set up a trinity again,
Yeah,
and also more braids of lies
yeah.
because he's low down, stand up, Holy Ghost. That's three.
Hey, threes are great. The power of three will set us free.
Yeah.
R.I.P. To Shannon Doherty. But
Yeah.
okay, so anyway, so you have this Trinity. So they are all part of what's called the Godhead. They're three and one, one and three. Don't. I'm not a.
Mhm.
Ask me later about the religious stuff. Anyway, so he's supposed to be this godlike figure who saves her, right? Almost like the
Mhm.
aliens in Down Bad. But turns
And
out
that's why he show up at the nick of time.
he's just a ghost, though, because
Yeah.
that wordplay of he just ghosts her.
Hmm.
Like how he gets ghosted later, right? And it's crazy because then maybe she should have known he was a ghost. He's a ghost. But anyway, she was
Even
the oh
though he also, I mean, but she did know because if we go all the way back to the opening lines of Reputation, knew he was a killer first time that I saw him. And then she goes, but if he's a ghost, then I can be a phantom.
Oh my
She was
gosh.
said, I'm gonna put myself on the layer on the same layer as him, same level. Uh, because she's a mastermind or she can fix him. Um, no, she can't. But
Oh my gosh.
so he's like a
No,
holy ghost.
no, you're crazy because I was thinking of the Matthew version, but you just were like, oh, but there's a Joseph connection too. Oh my gosh, we're gonna do this the whole song.
And then also Holy Ghost implies this idea of sanctification.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who is like, your integrity makes me seem small. Like to be holy is to be like set apart, right?
Oh my gosh, stop it.
So it's this set apart person, but also they're a ghost who you can't really hold on to. And all this is happening. Like she's seeing this person as these three different people, but in one person, and they're showing up in time to tell her, I love you and you are the love of my entire life.
About a million times. Like,
And I mean, if we, yeah, and then you get like illicit affairs where she's like, million little times. Oh, brother.
oh, but
My
yeah, yeah, it's crazy because when you bring up the illicit affairs things, I thought about this too. Like, when she does numbers, Taylor's actually very specific. Like, she loves to
Mhm.
be specific with her numbers, like 25 years old. How was I to know, right? Don't you think 19's too young, right? So
Yeah,
when she says about a million times, like
yeah.
to be specific, like obviously she's not going to be like 325,602 times. Although she did
Well,
that in
she did
Glitch.
say 300 takeout coffees though.
Yeah. So like to say about a million times is just to show both an exaggeration, but also just
Yeah.
like she was love bombed.
Exactly. And it implies that it was continuous. It was over and over again. And it's also implied, just going from this like pre-chorus kind of chorus buildup, it's implied that every time it was about to be over, he would show up. You showed up just in time. What is that? This love, I think.
Yeah, this love.
And he would show up just in time to be like, but I love you. You can't leave me because I love you. You can't leave me because I told Lucy I was going to kill myself
Yeah.
because I love you so much.
No, and like the way she sings it too about a million times. Like it seems like so
It's so
gross,
exhausting.
like sad, exhausted,
Yeah.
like and it's like she almost can't believe that she believed it every time.
Yeah. Right? That's so sick.
It's sick. It's sad.
It's sick and it's like sadistic. And also there is so much like she's disgusted with herself for believing it.
Mhm. Yeah, and she was really hoping for her happily ever after, like an ending, right? Like that this cemetery moment is like, the moment of every rom-com where the girl is sitting alone in the rain and then all of a sudden he shows up,
Yeah.
but the wrong guy shows up.
Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. Or who she thought was the right guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let me read the next one. Who's gonna tell me the truth when you blew in with the winds of fate and told me I reformed you? When your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes, well, you took me to hell too. And all at once, the ink bleeds. A con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme. But I felt a hole like this never before and ever since. Oh, Exquisite is sobbing, guys.
Oh, okay, listen. Because she asked the question again, and by asking her question, like when she asked this question, you feel so much of her regret and her disgust with herself in this song, like the self-loathing of her being like, why didn't I listen to my friends? Who was gonna tell me the truth about this person? Why wouldn't I listen to the people who were shaking their heads saying, God help her? And the reason she wasn't listening because she thought this person was holy and would show her heaven.
Yep. Yep. And she had no choice. Like he blew in with the winds of fate, right? This was written in the stars, right? Stars
It's
aligned.
the stars.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
your life and mine are parallel lines. Stars no, something intertwined. Stars all aligned. They intertwined,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then and then you told me I reformed you. Like, I like right like you like what person's right here? You saved me, right? Like you made me a better person. And granted, it should you and your partner should be help each other to be the best people you can be. Um, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. And then again, like with the like you blew in with the winds of fate and told me I reformed you. It's like if someone comes back to you and they're like, I am better now because of you and because I have you and I'll be better. Run.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about this last episode.
And then again, and I'm like, I'm pointing out like all over Reputation, she like implies so much where she's like, do the girls back home touch you like I do? Like
Hmm.
this person was a player before her.
Hmm.
And yeah,
And
or
then
this person is not a good person.
yeah, but also we know that there was a the rebound person
Yeah.
had also had a very
Well, yeah.
had a reputation as well.
Yeah. And then
And
yeah.
that person, I will say, as part of the lore, like cleaned up their Instagram, like deleted their Instagram, cleaned up their
Yeah.
Instagram, said that they needed to be good now or something. Um,
Exactly. And then you have to think with someone like Taylor who is so needing to be in controlled and so I wouldn't say needing, I would say she was kind of placed in a position where she felt like she had to have control because it was taken from her
yeah,
a lot of the times. But and you have this person who is like who has I can fix him syndrome, who has I have to be the mastermind. If you go to them and you tell them what you're doing worked, it changed me, of course, she's not gonna bolt on you. She's
yeah,
gonna hold tight,
yeah,
claws in,
yep. When you're,
and ignore you.
yeah,
Because no, who's gonna tell her the truth?
is she listening?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's cool that in this verse we have two whens. Who's going to tell me the truth? One, when you blew with the winds of gate, and two, when your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes. So impressionism is a type of painting that was popularized people like Claude Monet,
Hmm.
and basically instead of doing these, I guess like more photorealistic images, they would kind of do impressions. Like they would have more crazy brushstrokes, like Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. Like it's
Yeah.
like the idea of a starry night. It makes sense, but it doesn't literally look like if you go outside,
Yeah.
there are no swirls.
And then also like a lot of it, it was kind of practice of being like you would go outside and paint what you thought you saw,
Hmm.
what you thought you saw, and it was something that was like done on the spot, kind of.
Yeah. So this reminds me of like when well sorry the way that she writes this, it makes me seem like she's saying that it when this person who she's talking to, like, you told me you saw heaven, right? Because you
You
can,
saw it when you looked at me,
yeah.
right?
And but then it turned out to be a fake. Like you lied. Like you've never been to heaven. You've never seen heaven. You don't believe. You're not going to take me to heaven, right? Like, kind of in I can fix him, right? Like I'll show you heaven if you be a good boy, right?
Yeah.
Like, but there
And
is
you're
no heaven.
not holy
Yeah,
either.
not holy.
Get me into heaven, and you, because apparently, yeah, you're not holy.
Yeah. And it reminds me of dreamscapes on the wall from Peace. Oh, every time I bring up Peace, it makes me so sad. But right, like it's like in that
Or
song.
even to paint it on the ceilings of the star
Oh,
of the maps.
yeah, I drew a map on your bedroom ceiling, totally. Or the time she painted your brother's wall blue, right?
Yeah.
Like again, like but
And all of that was fake. It was counterfeit.
in fact, the paintings of heaven were so fake, they went to hell.
Yep. Took her to hell. And also, they were so fake that the ink started to bleed. Like the ink bleeds away.
Oh,
Like
is that
all
how
the
you read that?
yeah, okay. Because she says all at once in the same way, like it reminds me, she's like, low down in the nick of time. She goes again, she says it all at once, which is another way of kind of like saying in nick of time. The ink of the painting, it bleeds away. Like everything that even or all the writings, like you could take the ink bleeds as like her literal like journals that she like wrote
Yeah,
down of
that's what
like
I thought.
all
That was
her
what I was
yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
And so all of a sudden that bleeds away, and she realizes this person she painted is a con man who sells a fool a get love quick scheme. And do you know why this breaks my heart so bad? Like, other than obvious reasons, is because in that poem she wrote in Reputation, Why She Disappeared, there's this there's this point where she goes, when she rose slowly, avoiding old haunts and sidestepping shiny pennies, wary of phone calls and promises, charmers, dandies, and get love quick schemes.
Yep. I just looked it up.
So she thought that she was like, I am not going to do this again. And then once everything that she had written down and everything, once all of that bled away, what was actually left in at the center of these men or this person was just another con man. It was another snake oil salesman
Yep. That
who sells
if you do
yeah,
this, if you wait in the cemetery.
literally we're gonna in one kiss we go from one kiss to getting married if you wait in the cemetery with me for me to show up in the nick of time.
Yep. And so she felt a hole like this, never before. And I love this line too, never
I
before. And you think it's going to be and never since, right? But she says, and ever since, like consistently and constantly afterwards, she's feeling this hole.
the whole of like being lied to and then like self-disgust and like so much anger and like agony, and it's all she can feel because this person that she loves so much was just lying to her. And
Yeah,
anyway.
and not only lying to her, but like the lies destroyed her and her world and her beliefs and who she is, right? Like it shook, I love saying that, it shook the very foundations. It shook her to her core, right? Like
Like, yeah, no, because the thing is, and the thing about like, because what they painted for her was so grand, it was heaven,
yeah.
it was holy. And instead of that, she looked around and she was actually just been in hell this whole time.
Yep. From holy ground to hell.
I'm gonna throw up.
Sorry. She sang that recently too, right?
Like, exactly, like, oh my God. It's actually so sick. And especially sick because she sang Sweet Nothing and Hoax in front of me, and that's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Nothing plus Hoax is LOML.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's literally what it is. Your faithless love is the only hoax I believe in, and because she believed in it, she was sent to hell. She believed in those sweet nothings,
Yep.
and it ended with her in hell. It's not sweet. It's actually
All right, read it. The next part.
if you know it in one glimpse is legendary. What we thought was for all time was momentary. Still alive, killing time at the cemetery, never quite buried. You cinephile in black and white. All those plot twists in dynamite. Mr. Steal Your Girl, then make her cry. You said I'm the love of your life.
Well, Exquisite gathers her thoughts. I love the rhyme scheme in this.
Yeah.
Legendary, momentary, cemetery, quite buried. Oh, I guess we had it in the first one too. That one was legendary, getting married, cemetery,
Yeah.
quite buried. But this one's even
And you
better.
know what's funny about, okay, actually, do you want to know something? And I just blew my own mind
Do it.
thinking. Legendary, momentary, cemetery rhyme. Legendary, cemetery rhyme, but when in at the first time she says it, she creates a forced rhyme with getting married. It does not fit
Mm-hmm.
because it was never getting married. It was always supposed to be momentary. It was forced.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Because it was a forced rhyme. It was never gonna happen.
It's a forced rhyme.
Oh, Exquisite cries when she's overwhelmed. I laugh.
It was a forced rhyme.
It
Like,
was
And she didn't know it was forced until she realized that what we thought was for all time was momentary. That's what fits.
Damn.
So she only had to replace that one line because again, we have in the verse right before it, the ink has bled. So the ink where she forced in married, it bleeds away to just momentary.
Dang.
I got it. Oh.
Wow. Yeah, and I think one interesting thing though is that if you so in the we say if you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary. In the next pronoun, it's not what I thought was for all time. It's
Mhm.
we. Like there was a we moment that she
Yeah,
had, right? Like
yeah.
for at least one muse, right? Was
For at least one person, they thought they at some point they thought they were going to be together
yeah.
forever.
But either way, still alive, killing time at the cemetery, never quite buried. And now, one of my favorite Taylor singing moments, right? Like it's not just a line, but the way she sings it.
Yeah,
The way she sings, "You cinephile."
she was pissed.
She said it like it's a curse word, you know?
She literally said it like it was a slur.
Yeah, like spitting,
She said,
like spitting out poison.
and then for those who don't know, cinephile is a movie lover.
Yeah, lover of cinema.
So you cinephile in black and white, and again, this black and white is the suit and tie from the beginning. Because again,
Oh,
we're at the cemetery, never quite buried, and last time we were there, shows up in a suit and tie um for her at the last minute. But in this time, he's a cinephile in that same suit and tie, but there are plot twists, and he's blowing them up. Chemistry till it blows up with dynamite.
okay, okay. The black and white thing for me, it was more of like
Also movie. But
yeah. Well, the black and white movies too. I also thought it was like you see things in black and white. Like it's
ooh, I
like
like that as
yeah.
well.
So like there's a lot there. I love that. And then the dynam. I love the plot twists in, like in cinema. Very all media very common plot twist. The dynamite yes. Chemistry till it blows up in afterglow, but also just like you fire off missiles because you hate yourself. But did you know?
It's demolishing me. And then all those plot twists. You know when a plot twist was? You squeezed my hand as I'm about to leave. The
Yep.
plot twist, oh look, we can stay together.
Hmm.
That nope, actually no. Well, never mind.
Yeah, and the plot twist that untwists, like remember in Frozen, spoiler if you haven't watched Frozen, right, where like he's like where he leans in to kiss Anna and he's like, "Anna, if only somebody loved you." Like, "Oh!"
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Steal your girl, then make her cry.
And both muses have stolen the girl.
Yeah.
So,
Literally, hello, getaway car.
yeah.
Hello, guilty of sin. Anyway,
What was the second one you said?
guilty of
Oh
sin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Getaway car, guilty of sin. That'll be a cool mash. One day. The Mr. Steal
But
Your
yeah,
Girl mashup.
sister, steal your girl, then make her cry.
Yeah.
Another plot twist. You steal her by luring her out,
And
saying you'll
instead of a
love her.
happily ever
And
after,
yeah,
you put her in a cemetery.
yeah. And then also all those plot twists, I'm thinking about Cruel Summer or the plot twist in Mastermind, where she's like, you knew the whole time that I wanted to be with you. And so you understand a mastermind and you love it. That's a plot twist. Um, or like again, Cruel Summer, he looks up grinning like the devil. Or like
Cornelia
they
Street, when they run
yeah,
away. Yeah.
Cornelia Street, he came chasing after her when she tries to leave, right? All those plot twists and dynamite. And again, then make her cry. You said I'm the love of your life. And I like this because it's different because she goes, you told me to you said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that makes me think that was one of those plot twists.
Are you ready?
Anyway, no, but you can go anyway.
You shit talked me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. Dancing phantoms on the terrace, are they secondhand embarrassed that I can't get out of bed 'cause something counterfeit's dead? It was legendary. It was momentary. It was unnecessary. Should have let it stay buried.
Oh my God, the way she sings this. She's spitting it out.
Oh
She's
yeah,
it's like coming through clenched teeth.
yeah, uh,
Because go, you can talk about it
yeah.
because like
I think one of the reasons why I love that this is such a mixed song is that in English we have no plural you. Like when it's you, it can be like hey you one person or hey you y'all, right?
mhm.
Um, and so when I see you shit talk me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles, you can totally see her singing to multiple people, right?
Exactly.
This idea of like hey, like you talked, you might have laughed at me, made fun of me with some esoteric joke, but you also talked to me about, you know, paper rings and
Yeah,
and
and
give
baby
and give you
and a
my wild, give you my child.
if you a child like and to be talked under a table means to be talked into submission as well.
Oh yeah.
Like it means that like typically people will be like, oh, I talked them like you'll talk somebody on the table if you're trying to like do a deal, right? But she's like, you shit, it was shit. You were talking shit. Like it wasn't real. It wasn't like because you knew I wanted it. Talking rings and talking cradles, you knew that was what I wanted. And now I cannot stop thinking about all that we could have had.
Another definition to talk one under the table is to bore or waste one's time with tedious talking.
Yep. Wasted her time talking rings and talking cradles.
Never, yeah, making her stay to kill time at the cemetery.
Making her convince herself that it's only the audience looking at the relationship that wants her to be a bride and that she's enough. It is enough for her if you don't read into her melancholia. All it's enough as long as we're in love. That's enough.
Yeah, and then obviously we have, you know, the talking rings. We've seen it in um, the title track, right? Like at dinner, you take my dinner at a table, probably. You take my
Yep.
ring off and my middle finger and put it on the one people put wedding rings on, right?
That's the curse closest I've come to my heart exploding. Hello? Plot twists and dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also we have it in Fresh Out the Slammer at the end where she's running and she's like sit, sitting on swings wearing imaginary rings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she knew it would be all right because they
Yeah.
used to do that with their kids.
And she said, they don't know how you've haunted me so stunningly, so I choose you and me religiously, which is a wedding, a marriage. Deep breath.
Deep breath, deep breath. Dancing phantoms on the terrace. Are they secondhand embarrassed? And those dancing phantoms are they're up there waltzing into rekindled flames.
Mm-hmm. So yes,
Yep.
so phantoms are like ghosts. I this image remind. I don't know if you've been to Disneyland. I don't know, and I don't know if Disney World has this, but there's the Haunted Mansion ride,
Yeah.
where they use like cool, like practical effects to make it seem like there's ghosts like spinning around in the room. That's what I always think of, these like ghosts that are dancing and they're in sync and they're gonna dance forever, right? They don't have any problems, right? They're in the afterlife together and happy. But when they see her and the fact that she is no longer dancing because they learned the wrong steps and they're doing different dances, are they like, oh no, that poor girl? And like,
Are they embarrassed because she can't even get out of bed to join the dance?
or yeah, or even like stand on the side and like watch. Like she can't even like
Yeah.
she's what is it? I slur your name till someone puts me in a car. I stop
Yeah.
receiving invitations. Like she girl is in bed all day.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing. And then also there's like this because something counterfeit is dead. So it was never alive to begin with. So you have these dancing phantoms, like these things that were actually alive at some point. And they're like, it's kind of embarrassing because we're actually dead and still up here dancing, and you can't get out of bed because something it was never even alive in the first place,
Yeah,
you know?
like, and it's like
It was dead on arrival.
yeah, it's like, you know, like people who, like I've heard of, you know, people who get scammed and then they're so embarrassed because like how could I have gotten scammed? And they're like so
Exactly.
embarrassed. Right? Like I should have seen the signs. Like they made me get a $500 Target gift card and then turn it into Bitcoin, you know? Like but like it happens. and there she is so embarrassed, and she thinks that even ghosts are embarrassed on her behalf.
Exactly. Or the ghost of a young her. Again, the one that was dancing
Yeah,
back into
yeah, it could.
reclaiming.
Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, is young me embarrassed that I let us do
Oh
this?
my gosh, that's such a sad image, because for her, in her brain originally it was legendary. It was supposed to be, right, you and I go from one kiss to getting married, but instead it was momentary. Instead, it was
It was
unnecessary.
unnecessary. It shouldn't have happened. That it should not have happened.
Yeah,
And the like specific, it was unnecessary. The way she sings it, again, it's filled with so much self-loathing
yeah, yeah. And the
that
fact
she's
is,
like, I can't believe I did this.
and again, I will say, like, this song is obviously written in as for a specific emotion at a specific time. Like, I know that we're not saying that Taylor regrets, you
Yeah.
know, X, Y, and Z, but in this moment, it's just this agony that she is going through and is hoping, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, was this X amount of time relationship even necessary?
And to think it unnecessary is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it's like, again, it's back to that I wish I could unrecall. Like, Taylor is someone who is so haunted by memory, and typically she'll embrace it. Like, she part of writing her music is about like going through memories, and she's like, I don't even want to write this, but I need to.
Yeah,
And she
because
said it on stage that she needed to write this.
even in a song like Back to December, she says she goes back to December all the time, like, where she made a mistake and she's like, she wishes she could fix it. But this is like, I want to erase, right? Like, I want to tear these pages of my brain out and like throw them in the fire.
It was unnecessary, and I should have never went back. I should have never been killing time at cemetery, because I should have let it stay buried. In my defense, I have none for digging up the grave another time, and she's
Ooh,
like, I should not have done it, and if I could go back in time, I would stop myself from doing it.
yeah. And that addition of the word unnecessary, um, is so powerful, because again, you're breaking the repetition of the cemetery. And in,
Yeah.
poetry, that's like, that's like a red, like, brr, 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 siren.
Yep. Because it's supposed to be legendary, momentary,
Cemetery.
cemetery. Well, legendary, momentary, unnecessary. I should not have been killing time at that damn
That's
cemetery.
right.
I should have let it stay buried.
It reminds me of that quote in the Time Person of the Year, where she was like, "I'm never gonna get that time back." Right? She was talking
Mhm.
specifically about locking herself in the house, not specifically talking about a relationship. But and again, I don't
But
think she like, this is a moment of time, right?
mhm.
But yeah, the pain is real and it's there.
Yeah. Should have let it stayed buried. And the way that's sung with the like layering, the vocal layerings,
Uh,
it's like it's the past screaming from a crypt again.
no, totally.
Anyway,
This is you now.
let me tell you guys something. This outro, I think, is probably one of the greatest things she's ever written. Oh, what a valiant roar, what a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion. I'm combing through the braids of lies. I'll never leave, never mind. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire. Your arsons match your somber eyes, and I'll still see it until I die. You're the loss of my life.
Boom. Exquisite's mouth is literally the frowny face from the emojis.
It's like the valiant roar. She's like, we tried. And that's what's so heartbreaking, is that they tried, and it all watered down to nothing. It's pittered out. Like, there was no rekindling that flame, right? It just died. And it didn't die with like a boom or an explosion. It was bland.
No, that's what I think. I don't even think there was any roar. I think it's like Simba in The Lion King, who does the little like roar, to the hyenas. Like, oh,
Yeah.
good job, Simba. It was like a soft golf clap for what the effort
Yeah.
that these people put in, these muses put in. It
Like,
was,
especially, yeah, no. Yeah,
and then
exactly.
it was just a bland goodbye.
Like, it's like all that effort to keep them together,
Yeah.
all the effort to draw the ship back in, all like the spine splitting pain, the being sacrificed for a bland goodbye.
Yeah, and so the coward claimed he was a lion. So, if you don't know, that's a little bit of a reference to the Wizard of Oz, where there's the cowardly lion is one of the characters who's joins Dorothy on a quest. She's trying to get home, and he wants to get courage. And so, in a lot of and I guess in Western literature in general, there's a lot of like the lion is very brave. He's supposed to be a symbol of like
Yeah,
valiant honor and roaring and stuff.
yeah.
So,
It's
um,
supposed to be like Mufasa was like this great king,
yeah,
like in The Lion King, or the Chronicles of Narnia, where the lion is literally God.
Jesus.
Which Holy Ghost again and all that good stuff.
But yeah, so the
Uh,
coward claimed he was a
was
lion, but he was just a
that part in the
coward.
poem? Was that part in the poem? That part in the summation poem where she's like,
Oh, okay, I
I
have it. I have it.
can't remember.
Um, wait, which part of the poem?
The part where she's like, he couldn't swing that
Oh,
sword.
how gallant to save the empress from her gilded tower, swinging a sword he could barely lift.
Yeah. So this coward, and then also coward is like someone who would run away or someone who would leave her alone, right?
Yeah,
Tail
flees the
between your
battle.
legs, you coward.
Hmm.
And you lied to me and you claimed you were brave and that we could do this and that I had changed you. And all that you left me with, like all and the line right after is she's like the I'm combing through the braids of lies. She's like in the aftermath, she's to pick apart what happened.
Yeah, and it's not just one braid of lies. It's like lots of lies.
Multiple, so many little lies. The I'll never leave. Never mind. I'll never leave, never mind.
Other lies include I love you. I'm the love of your life. That's
Yeah. I'm the love of your life. I'm making you these paintings.
that
Um,
you I'm reformed because of you. That's a lie.
we'll never go back to that bloodshed crimson clover. Lie, lie after lie. And you have to, and well, I'm gonna say you, but I mean like as for me, it's like all of Tortured Poets Department is her combing through the lies. Like
Yes.
she has to, and that's the only way because otherwise she just left a knotted, tangled, matted mess that just has to be all cut off,
Yeah,
right? But she's
I love those TikTok videos. I'm actually not on TikTok anymore, but I remember back then like there were people who would like because of some, condition or, medical reason or whatever, they just couldn't do their hair and so then these hairdressers would just go through and like try to save as much as possible and like yeah, you just have to brush it like or those or like the grooming people who like groom cats and dogs are like have to like detangle for hours.
and to get a mat out because I've done it. Because when I was younger, especially, I never wanted. I was like, I hated like pain, and my hair would get matted up, or my sister's hair would get matted up, and it takes so much time to not like to just cut all of it off is kind of to pretend like nothing ever happened, but to comb through mats and braids, you are meticulously being like, and it takes so long and it's a lot of effort, but like at the end, you kind of you're and not to borrow switchism, but at the end you're clean, right? You go through a lot of rainstorms, and you're clean, but like you have to go like slowly and take your time and maybe cry about it in order and lose a lot of hair in order to come out
But you
of the
have your
side.
hair.
Yeah, in order to come out with something, in order to come out and be okay, in order to come out and be able to be like, I cry a lot, but I am so productive. You have to start with the combing through, and the hair falls out like the lies fell out. I'll never leave, falls away. Your love of my life falls away because they were.
I love that. All right, next section. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire. When I first heard this, so Field of Dreams immediately makes me think of this really famous, I think it was a book first, but it's more well known in pop culture by this movie. It's got Kevin Costner.
Hmm.
Basically, he has a dream to build a baseball field in the middle of nowhere, and like it's like the voice in his head or an angel, whatever, is like, if you build it, they will come. So it's become part of the cultural zeitgeist to mean if you follow your dreams, even impossible ones, extraordinary things can happen.
And yep. So their field of dreams engulfed in fire, so it's burning up. And then she
Yeah.
immediately goes, "Your arson's
You
matched."
burned it. You. That's what happened.
That
You.
and you're looking at me with your sad eyes as you're lighting up everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Somber means serious, solemn, like sad, heavy. I mean,
Like,
connotation of heavy.
yeah. So you are looking at me with your somber eyes. And mind you, this is also for me like a flashback to the Better Minds, like a remedy as well. So she's like, you're looking at me, and it's like your arson's matched. Like we're looking in each other's eyes as you're lighting us up.
Which is crazy.
And I'll still see it until I die. Like these things are going to haunt her. She cannot ever unrecall it.
Yeah. What do you think the it is?
I think the it is referring to the dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. I said the field of dreams, like her
Yeah,
previous life, right? Like this, as it's like seeing your house after a natural disaster. Like let's say in this one, like a
yeah.
forest fire. Like I'm gonna see this loss until I die.
Like even when she no longer remembers them, it's still going to be like this is the path my life could have taken, and it's the loss of my life for me. And you're the loss of my
Yeah.
life.
Here we go.
The future life as well. Like we get the title finally, and it's like everything they could have been, she's lost, and she's gonna see it forever.
Yeah. I think it's so powerful. Like you're the loss of my life. So going back again to my what I said about you doesn't necessarily have to be a singular person or thing you're talking to. Like I think it's your like you are is like this everything, like Tortured Poets Department tracks 1 through 11 or whatever, right? Like this whole thing, this 1 year plus period, if you're going to go all the way back to you're losing me, like
Yep.
of pain and suffering and the decisions that you made, I made, the lies, the waiting at the cemetery, like this is the loss. Like even like my ideas that like the winds of fate are like important and um like all of that. Like
The her loss of belief in fate and
yeah,
whole ideal idea system, like her whole self sense of self as well.
it's so sad.
It's so sad.
But can I tell you a funny fact
It's a funny fact.
or fun fact? Field of Dreams, the movie, came out in 1989.
Oh God. No. What's an emoji, Hannah?
guess it could be a baseball.
You know? Yeah. No one's gonna expect a baseball with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
but yeah.
this song is she's so talented.
She, yeah, like I mean, I have to say of like when I heard you shit talked me under the table talking rings and talking cradles, I'm pretty sure I like fell onto the bed.
It
Like
hit me the same way with I Wouldn't Marry Me Either.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, right? Like we like Taylor has not hidden that she wants to be married. She wants to have maybe at least one or more babies. Right? We've known that from in songs minimum from Peace, right? Oh no, no, before like Lover was
Yeah.
basically like Let's
You've
Get
known it
Married album,
for a while.
right? And then Baby was Peace, like Folklore.
Yeah.
Um and so to see her want this, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, maybe it's because of, like, it's just the woman thing you're supposed to do, but I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
Taylor really sees it as like a symbol of commitment and love and like partnership. And it can be, when done right and healthily, a beautiful way to, have your life expand and grow and to, be happily ever after. But then her getting it dashed twice in 1 year must have
Yeah.
been devastating.
Within months of each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
I think, and
Hannah.
I think that's why I think this hit me so hard. Sorry to interrupt really quick, but just like because
No,
like I didn't think she was gonna be so explicit about the marriage and
I
babies part.
know.
I think we knew about
Set
the,
it up.
yeah, we thought it would just be anger and like you wasted my time, you are a terrible person, but it was like no,
He's
like
like, you killed my future children.
yeah, you killed my dreams. Like, and I think that's so much
You burned
scarier.
it.
Yeah, burned it to the ground, like the lover
Yeah,
house.
exactly.
And before we go, I just want to say that I know we're in the pits right now, but it's gonna get better. Like we're gonna be on the upswing now.
Yeah, we're almost back. Oh, also, wait, I did just realize something. Um, in the very beginning where she goes, I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed. I felt a glow like this never before and never since. Um, do you think she's a glow because she's like also staring at the fire?
What fire?
The fire he started of
Oh
their
my
field of
gosh. Oh my gosh. Like she's lit by this Field of Dreams
yeah,
arson
not
fire.
lit from within, lit from a literal fire.
Dang.
I know, right? Isn't
Well,
that crazy?
yeah. I mean, I do think that like taking that metaphor like another way, like I think like the initial fire, the glow, feeling glow inside, feeling that other person a glow, like both like from Snow on the Beach and also the alien glowing person.
Mhm.
I think now like at the end of this song, like that her life is a glow, like because it's burning down, but she's like a stone. She's dead. Like she is a statue that crumbled.
I was just saying the same thing. And also, it's kind of crazy. We open on flames and end on flames in the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. No, that's the connection. We open on rekindled flames, but turns out that rekindled flame lit the match that burned the Field of Dreams.
yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Good. That's wow. We are still gonna do the baseball, but everyone else know you got if you stuck around this long, you all got the extra epiphany of the flames
Yeah.
both ways.
It's kind of
Dang.
crazy.
That
Like
is
it was
so crazy.
yeah. And especially because if you're gonna dance in a fire, you waltz back into the flames, you're gonna get burnt. And
Yeah.
no everyone's telling her you're gonna get burned. And she was not listening. Because he promised her all those things and he painted beautiful pictures of heaven.
Yeah. But now we're gonna be on the upswing. We're gonna do I Can Do It with a Broken Heart. Smallest man who ever
Oh,
lived.
we gotta get some anger out.
Yeah.
After I can do it too.
Yep. So we're gonna get there. Thank you everybody who's been tuning in and listening. We appreciate you so much. Please talk to us on Twitter. You can at us. You can hashtag TTPD seminars, and we
Mhm.
will see you soon with I Can Do It with a Broken Heart.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.